Audio Jungle.
Well, the review is Nigeria is increasingly becoming more and more involved in the G20 and the summits in particular. Just like you said, we were invited to India, we've been invited to Brazil, and the next country to chair the G20 is South Africa. And it was actually quite instructive that President Tinubu's contributions at the summit resonated with all those in attendance, including, of course, the visitor that just left, Mr. President, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, who was commending the reforms of the Tinubu administration, the gains, and also pledging their support. And when we say support, we're talking about technical support, helping with carrying out studies. They see what we're doing, and they are very appreciative of that.
Nigeria has been pushing to be a member of this very powerful group in the world. Where are we, and what's the hope for Nigeria?
You know, membership into the G20 is something that takes time, and it's not really something that you apply for and then you get accepted. It comes often by way of consensus and by way of first and foremost being invited to participate, and then gradually you become formalized as a member. And that's exactly what is happening. And they can see the quality of the representation that Nigeria is giving with regards to Global South, because there's a lot of attention now with focusing on the G20, because the on developing countries, on the Global South. The G20 can see clearly that there's a need to tackle poverty, there's a need to tackle hunger, which was the theme of the Brazilian leadership of the G20. And these are things that affect Africa, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, more than any other region, which is why they also want to hear more from African countries. And the country with the biggest voice in Africa is Nigeria, because of our credentials, because of our fight against racist regimes in the past, because of what we've done in supporting other Global South countries. You've got the Technical Aid Corps, where we've been sending professionals since 1987 to African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries, and all of that. So we have the credentials, and we're non-threatening to our neighbors. We're a peaceful country, and we always, in fact, one of the major things that was tabled and discussed by brought up by more than one country is the UN tax resolution that was championed by Nigeria, and it was Nigeria that put it forward on behalf of the other African countries, and then seeing it become institutionalized at the UN level. So this is something that Nigeria championed, and others have been echoing, saying, look, we need to look at the global system of taxation. It's favoring developed countries and hurting developing countries. And you have a lot of businesses, conglomerates. You've got these corporate giants that are from the developed global north that are participating or making gains in the developing global south, and they're not paying taxes, and it's unfair. And if we continue to do that, we can't keep on paying lip service to the issue of hunger, the issue of poverty. We need to tackle that. And they can see the connect, how it affects them as well if something is not done about it. So for us, it's really a badge of honor that everybody is echoing this UN global tax reform, something that Nigeria championed.
Now Nigeria went into the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty. What does it mean for the country?
Well, it means that we will continue to do more of what the Tinubu administration is already doing in terms of social programs, social investment, cash transfers, and also social services. So education, health, and also what we're going to do in terms of food production, in terms of, in fact, one of the things that we were engaged in while we were here was the agreement being signed between Nigeria and Brazil on agriculture, on improved seeds, on seeds technology, so that we improve the yield. Because you can see what Brazil did here. They had a savanna that was more or less barren because it was the yield from it was very low in terms of agricultural output. But what they did was, because of the research that they've been doing for so many years, they were able to come up with a solution. They apply lime, they apply phosphate, and they turned it into one of the most fertile and prolific regions in the world in terms of soybean production. So we're partnering with them on that. We have the Green Imperative also that is looking at agricultural projects in our local governments at that level. We are also looking at several other sectors, within livestock. So the Minister for Livestock was here in Brazil, but he actually even went to Sao Paulo because there was a lot. It wasn't just G20, there was a lot happening in Sao Paulo, which was focusing on agriculture, focusing on business. There was government-to-business meetings, there was business-to-business meetings. We're now looking at a bilateral air service agreement. I think about 2 companies are being put on the fast track to be flying because it's 8 hours. It's not right that we have to fly all the way to Europe to get to this place when it's only an 8-hour flight. First you fly from Nigeria to Europe, 6 hours, then you fly from Europe to Brazil, another 10 or 11 hours. Something is not right. And we used to have a direct flight from Lagos to Brazil in the 70s and 80s. So this is what we're trying to bring back. There's so much value. And the governor of Niger State was also here. There was an MOU also that was signed. There was an agreement that was signed. And it's a $5 billion offtake agreement for ethanol. So he is partnering with Indians and Brazilians to grow sugarcane the same way that the Brazilians are doing it. Instead of us importing from them, they're going to partner with us to grow sugarcane in Niger State. That would be utilized for ethanol. That would also give us the opportunity to earn carbon credits through it. So it's an entire value chain. So a lot has happened.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Audio Jungle.